Hey everybody, welcome to Cake Burger. I'm Steve and I'm hitting my mic on the side.
And I'm Mike.
I
interrupted you there for a little bit. I'm sorry.
I'm hitting this mic. I mean I was hitting that mic. Although when I go like this, I think I'm actually pointing in the other direction. So I'm hitting that mic.
Well, I was really holding my hands down tight so I wouldn't do this, but I'm just gonna, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna do it every time now.
I don't know why you fight it. I mean, it really makes you, it animates you, and people are really more engaged when
One of these days I'm just gonna rip this old table off that I have holding my mic up because I got a dinner table holding the Mac up, and I got the little side table that's from like 1985, holding up my mic that
Well, they don't make them like they used to,
Oh, they don't.
What I recommend, you seem very concerned and there's a lot of anxiety behind the whole hand thing. What I recommend one day is you record in the dark, one flashlight. I mean, it's Halloween, one flashlight going up, facing your face, and glow sticks. So you just keep on moving your hands, and people will be enchanted. I think I would be.
What we'll do is we'll edit that in to any of our openings now, no matter what time of the season it is.
Yeah,
just do it that way.
Like a Joel Schumacher, the Joel Schumacher Batman, I forget what they're called, Turkish Bath, the gang. Yeah. You do that. I mean, you get the glow sticks, I'll take some horse tranquilizers, and we'll just we'll make a night of it. You know what I mean?
And then you can see me doing like this, and you're just like transfixed on it.
Like
I worked at a concert one time because I was in my second job at the time, and these people were stoned and drugged out of their mind, and like some guy had like the magic caps on their hands, had lights on, and the kid was like,
did he have the baby pacifier in his mouth too?
I think so. Yeah, it was one of those weirdo concerts, but
those were the days. Anyway, that's the past, Mike. We're talking about right now.
Yeah.
All those days. Right now, we're talking about the not the future, but the present. Present news concerning the future. Of all things geeky as far as comic books and comic book movies and all that kind of good stuff goes. Let's get right into it. But before we do, I'll remind you guys to like and subscribe to our channel. This is your first time tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. And you know what? There's plenty more content. Go check it out. And if you like us, give us a thumbs up. And if you don't like us, just subscribe anyway. We'll make you hit the bell. Although I prefer you hit the bell, but subscribe. Jesus Christ, help a brother out here.
I got another. This is my part 2 of Ocarina of Time coming up soon, where I don't sound like I had a stroke. I still can't explain that first video why I sounded like that, but hey, I got another one coming up.
Hey, at least it's entertaining. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to do a Castlevania video of the first one, but I decided to do a Japanese one, the Vampire Killer, because there's an easy mode, and I have no shame saying I'm using easy mode to beat that game.
Just go for it. Don't give up on your dreams. We'll do Castlevania Japanese. But anyways, let's get into the news right now, guys. We had some it's been a little weak sauce the past month as far as movie news goes. A lot of it's kind of been mostly casting things for projects that are coming up that maybe will get filmed if this goddamn virus ever ends up going away. But we'll see. The first thing I'm gonna talk about is Doctor Strange 2. Obviously, the pieces are starting to come together. I'm sure that we're getting close to production on that movie, I believe. We got a new casting rumor, not rumor, but casting confirmed about. I'm gonna try to pronounce his name, but I think I'm gonna butcher it. It's Shockel Gomez, who's gonna be playing I believe America Sanchez, I think, who's one of the current Young Avengers. And she was long rumored to be in the movie anyway, but they never had any casting for her. But now it's official now. We got an actress playing her. This kind of further confirms that I think Kevin Feige and the MCU were kind of putting the pieces together as far as that Young Avengers, either movie or show or just like
I think I would rather see a Disney Plus on that. In all honesty.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed Runaways. I enjoyed the first season of Runaways.
Runaways was awesome.
Yeah.
A little short tirade road, not really a tirade, but what I loved about it so much is it had the OC vibe. I don't care what you guys say. I love the OC.
Hey, I'm not judging.
OC was superpowers, and I absolutely loved all 3 seasons. And it's a shame that it got canceled. I hope that it comes back once it's on Hulu, so I don't understand why Hulu was canceled, but.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those shows, they had like a what's his name? I forget the name of the Ghost Fighter. A Ghost Fighter show in production. They had Danny Hellstrom, which I think they kind of reworked into another show. But a bunch of shows. I think Kevin Smith was doing a Howard the Duck show. Patton Oswalt doing a MODOK thing that ended up turning into a comic book. But I mean, I don't know. It seems like Kevin Feige wants it all under his, like, in his hands.
That's why I don't get it. Like, I don't get why Agents of Shield, because I didn't like that show anyways. But Agents of Shield, and Inhumans, and Cloak and Dagger, not Inhumans, Runaways, and Cloak and Dagger.
Those were
I got to see Cloak and Dagger because I was on free. Was that, is that still Freeform? Anyways, but they were still under the Disney banner with ABC and Hulu, so I don't get why.
Well, they were all, I mean, like, produced by ABC, but that was kind of like the television division and the movie division were two separate things as far as Netflix goes and Agents of Shield and all that kind of thing. That was Jeff Loeb's thing, from what I understand. Kevin Feige. There was this thing, I think, around around Civil War, or maybe a little bit before, where Kevin Feige almost quit, I guess, because he was saying he doesn't want any interference from guys like Brian Bendis and Jeff Loeb and Joe Quesada, and said, like, it's either them or me. And then I guess they kind of, or I think Ike Perlmutter was a big factor in it too, because Ike Perlmutter was a big, he had a big interest in the TV stuff, but I guess Kevin Feige didn't want to work with him. And that's a whole episode in itself right there. But I guess there was kind of like a lot of infighting, and ended up being like, well, Kevin's making the big bucks, so put Kevin in charge of everything. And then he kind of squished any project that wasn't his, he kind of squished. So but anyway, so Young Avengers, we've talked about another episode. They're kind of forming that group. Looks we get some key players now. We get America Sanchez. Like, we have Speedy and Wiccan in WandaVision that showed. And I think Captain America just made a casting announcement. It's not official right now, so I'm not really going to kind of give it any press to it. Some people think it might be Rick Jones. But who knows who it really is? I don't know who the actor is. So, but a lot of people say one of the characters from Young Avengers is also going to be in that show also. So yeah, I mean, as far as Doctor Strange goes, that's one casting rumor. The other casting rumor we've mentioned before also is they're trying to put together that whole Spider-Verse thing with Raimi, kind of get like the old Spider-Man inside Doctor Strange 2 or in Spider-Man 3. From what I understand, not much has been confirmed with those, especially with Andrew Garfield. There's been a little more talk as far as Tobey Maguire goes. I think a lot of people, he seems a little more feasible, seeing as though Andrew Garfield left on bad terms with Sony when he left. Tobey Maguire, from what I understand, from what the rumor mill is that he's kind of holding out because he wants more time as Tobey Maguire and less time swinging around as a CG Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Which kind of, I mean, I don't know. It kind of makes sense. I mean, he's always been, like, he's more of an art house actor anyway. He's like, I mean, that's the only big franchise movie he ever did was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I think, and after that, he kind of, like, went away anyway. It's just gambled.
Kind of going down the Tom Welling route of the Crisis on Infinite Earths, the CW stuff was like, probably because he couldn't fit in the suit anymore. But that's you so much, man. I love you, Tom. I mean, for me, I think we briefly talked about this last week. I would much rather them stick to the animated Spider-Verse and give Tobey like voice acting credits for Spider-Man in that show. Same with Andrew Garfield. And I'll honestly, I wouldn't really want to see a Spider-Verse movie, a live action, unless there was a live action Miles Morales in it, or Spider-Man 2099.
That's something we can also kind of briefly talk about. I guess another rumor also has been that they're casting. They have an actor in mind, and they're talking to for Miles Morales to make a cameo in Spider-Man 3, which gives more water to the fact that they're like probably doing a Spider-Verse movie in Spider-Man 3, which I'm not a fan of. But then again, I mean, I don't know.
They had a perfect time to, kill off Peter Parker like they did with Avengers and have a Miles Morales Spider-Man take over his place within that 5-year gap or however long the gap was. And we'll just give me our next topic after this is that for me, I don't think that made much of an impact because for Spider-Man to be his identity revealed, I wish they didn't really do that in the second Spider-Man movie because it's like, he hasn't really been Spider-Man for that long.
Yeah, he's been Spider-Man for like 5 minutes.
I mean, he didn't really go around, like, there wasn't a lot of that much news covered as him when he was on his reverse Scarlet Spider suit, as I like to call it. And then, there was never a news conference about him joining the Avengers, like they were originally going to have. So he wasn't around long enough to make that much of an impact. Like, oh, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and like, who cares? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Plus, if he does get outed, it's like, and if you're an Avenger, then who cares? Just go live in Avengers compound. Like, it's a big deal. Then again, it's not really. I guess that's kind of up in the air after Endgame. What the deal is with the Avengers anyway? If they're even if they are disbanded or what's even going on with that whole group. So yeah, I mean, as far as Tobey Maguire coming back, yeah, I like I said before, if you're gonna if you're gonna insist on a Spider-Man Spider-Verse movie, I wouldn't mind cherry picking a Sinister Six. And if you're doing that, I wouldn't mind just Tom Holland kind of like falling into like a reality where like Tobey Maguire is fighting Sandman or even like the girl Vulture that Sam Raimi originally wanted to do, and they kind of like okay, I'm taking you, and all of a sudden like they talk and have a brief scene together, and then you pick that whatever villain. One thing
that would have been an epic way to introduce the different Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know.
Speaking of which, the cherry picking through different realities, we had casting, not casting, a rumor that the villain for the first of all, they said Craven is probably most definitely out as a villain
Yeah.
in the movie, which makes sense because they're doing. I think Sony's doing a solo Craven movie anyway for some reason. But there's been a rumor that the Spencer Smythe and the Spider Slayers are going to be a villain in this movie. Which, if you guys have been paying attention to this channel for a long time, back when the whole Sony Marvel fighting was going on, me and Mike kind of decided to fix this Spider-Man problem, and I pitched what I would do as far as fixing the Spider-Man franchise, which is basically have the Spider Slayers hunting Spider-Man. He goes through different realities, meets different Spider-Men, and they all become one Spider-Man. Aside from the fact that there's been no mention of them combining Spider-Man to a Spider-Man Prime type person, like an older Spider-Man. Like I think I mentioned in my videos, John Krasinski.
He would play the perfect adult Spider-Man.
Yeah. Aside from that fact, which I mean, who knows? There's still time to hear the announcements. It sounds like they're lifting that pitch directly and making for the Spider-Man 3 movie. If you ask me,
it would make sense because Jameson would either hire Matt Gargan because we haven't seen a Scorpion in a Spider-Man movie, and it seems like they're trying to avoid repeating old villains, which I still think they need to pay attention to the Batman movie. But also, Jameson also got hired the Smythes to have Spider players to go out to Spider-Man, so it would make perfect sense with Jameson there now.
Well, the reason why also that they're doing this thing, and I think I may have mentioned it briefly in another episode somewhere down the line. The reason why you're seeing Vulture and you're seeing Jamie Foxx come back in Electro, and you're seeing the possibility of cherry picking villains from previous movies, Marvel can't do any of those villains. That's why you have what's her name, Zendaya playing MJ, who's not Mary Jane. You have Dead Leeds, who's not Genki, and you have Betty Brant, who looks like.
Oh, by the way, he lost a lot of weight.
Lost a lot of weight, yeah. I saw him. But the reason why you have Hot Aunt May is because Marvel can't do a Green Goblin, and Marvel can't do a Doctor Octopus proper. They'd have to do a female Doctor Octopus or a different character because that's the way the Sony deal is. But basically, Sony owns the rights to doing these characters. Marvel has to do something different than something Sony's done before. So that's why, and that also may have something to do with the story beats. Why you have like the whole like Tony Stark worship and the character difference between those movies. So you're not going to see the proper villains that you want to see in the MCU unless it's a solo Sony movie off from like so that's the reason for that.
That's probably why they might let Venom in there so they can kind of release the stranglehold on the Spider-Man.
Yeah, character. I mean anything can happen. Also, I mean if we're while we're still on Spider-Man right now, so the Spider-Man's a gift that keeps on giving.
Us we're going to talk about Spider-Man on this podcast.
The other thing we talked about, a long time rumored Norman Osborn actor Matthew McConaughey has broke the silence, saying that it's about time he did a movie for his kiddos. He said he's done movies like Kubo, and there's another movie too. I think I want to say Trolls, but I know it's not Trolls. Some CG movies that he did with a voice for, but he said he's never done any movies that his kids can watch him in and enjoy as far as like, live action. So. He's long been talked to and rumored to play the Marvel Universe as Norman Osborn, and so I guess he's getting closer and closer to having that conversation being an official one as far as like being approached for maybe that role, maybe somebody else. Personally, I think he'd be a better Mephisto. But I mean, we also have.
I kind of liked how Michael Keaton was if hopefully he's going to come back, was the Norman Osborn, Adrian Toomes of the MCU, because I thought for sure that he would have played a perfect Osborn in my opinion.
When Spider-Man was first announced, the old Sam Raimi ones with that, they were going with casting. I think originally John Malkovich was approached for Norman Osborn, and but at that time Michael Keaton was doing a movie called Extreme Measures, and he got actually really good shape, and his hairline was receding and stuff like that, and he really looked the part of Norman Osborn, and he looked really crazy and badass in that. So I'm like, he would have been great, but it obviously ended up going to Willem Dafoe, who did a great job too in his own right.
But you can even tell of Homecoming that there was some Norman Osborn-esque.
Oh, especially that car scene,
Yeah.
and like it's like that was right out of the comics. It's really great. I think as far as Spider-Man news, that's all I got. One kind. I mean, yeah, this is not Spider-Man related, so I can kind of wait till later. Do you anything else, Mike, as far as Spider-Man news goes?
Just that I heard that they're gonna start filming soon, and that we might actually get a preview of the Spider-Man 3 movie in December.
I did hear that. I heard before 2020 is over, we might get a taste of Spider-Man 3 or Doctor Strange 2.
They did a Spider-Man comic book to help us feel better during 9/11. Why not release some Spider-Man movie news to help us feel better about 2020?
If there's one character who can really kind of dig us out of the trenches and make us give us a warm embrace, it's definitely Spider-Man, I think.
Yeah.
Iron Man is not your flagship character, Marvel. We all love Robert Downey Jr., but Spider-Man.
You might have been your flagship MCU character, but now it's Spider-Man's.
The other thing before we'll see on the big two, Marvel and DC. Matt Reeves leaked some set pics from the Batman movie. We've had, which people are making way too big of a deal out of this. It's pics of Superman and Wonder Woman, and these who are not Gal Gadot, not Henry Cavill, not Tyler Cushing, I think I forget what his name is, who's playing Superman, that CW show. It's obviously, if you guys have paid attention to the comics like that, this is a costume party, but it does lead into the idea that Superman and Wonder Woman do exist in this Batman universe, because they're making reference to them, whether they're making reference to characters who are actually in this universe as far as like Superman goes, or if it's just like Superman's a comic in the Batman universe, or like Wonder Woman's a comic in the Batman universe. I don't think if I don't think Matt Reeves is going to go any further than just like that. I don't think you're going to see a team up with like Batman and Superman, or Batman Wonder Woman, or that kind of thing.
Well, I think it might be as simple as they're going to make a guest appearance. It's going to be a picture of them, like an advertisement, and it's going to pay like when Val Kilmer was talking to 39-year-old Dick Grayson,
39-year-old orphan.
Was saying, I guess the train's all the way halfway down to Metropolis by now, when he was going to try and leave and catch up with the circus. So he did say it's halfway to Metropolis by now.
Yeah.
So hinting that even in that universe that there's a Superman.
And even George Clooney goes, "This is why Superman works alone."
Yeah. So I think that's all it's going to be. Yeah. I mean, I know there's a lot of Henry Cavill fans, myself included, and Gail Gadot as a great Wonder Woman. I don't think they're going to be replaced.
No.
And again, this is going to be me. I still think the whole Flashpoint movie is going to streamline one whole universe. And if, what's his face does a fantastic job as Batman, I still think he is, that he's going to be the new Batman. That's my opinion, not yours. Hey.
These actors clearly aren't Henry Cavill or Gal Gadot. So I mean, and the costumes look like they're on the cheap. They have like the cape with like the yellow insignia on the back. So this is clearly a costume party they're going to. And it's nice to have those little shout outs to DC Universe. I mean, DC Universe is a very rich tapestry of characters and icons, so it's kind of fun to throw that in there. But as far as like, the internet saying Superman in the Gotham City, that's not happening right now. You're not seeing that, guys. If you do, I'll be very surprised. As far as like what like Matt Reeves has given us as far as his take on Batman and what his ideas for Batman are, I'd be very surprised if you see the Super Friends in all their glory in this movie.
No, it's gonna be your self-contained Batman. I think, like you said, it's either gonna be they're at a costume party, or it's gonna be a one and done picture movie or on TV type thing, and that's it.
Although one odd thing for this movie, I did while I was looking at those pictures, there was a cab, a Gotham City cab, and it said established, and then one of the dates on there was 2019. So I don't know if that was that's one of a couple of things actually. Now that I think about it, from what I understand, this movie was supposed to take place in the 90s,
Yeah.
And now we're seeing that in there. So I don't know if that was just like something someone kind of missed, which would be kind of weird for Matt Reeves, seeing how detailed he is when it comes to a lot of his stuff. Also, one thing I didn't notice, that scene where Batman kind of like wigs out and does the whole "I'm vengeance" thing and punches the guy. There's one clown in there who has an iPhone taking a picture of the thing, which also doesn't match up with the '90s thing. So
Well,
is this?
but look at Gotham, the TV show. Everything else was set in the 80s, but yet they had modern cell phones. So
Yeah, I mean, when you look at even the like the animated series, it's like what year does it take place? Oh, I don't know, between 1935 and 1992. Somewhere.
I much rather hope that those are just maybe they might edit that out once it gets to final production.
He did say that. I mean, that all those things he showed during DC fandom were like, I think like not even 50% finished right there. So I mean,
Yeah,
that
the
could be
movie's still
things.
a year away, basically. So it's
Yeah,
a year away. So, yeah, I think it's just small stuff that they'll edit out. Hopefully, they'll catch it in final test footage or editing.
yeah.
But I'm excited about the Wonder Woman movie. If we ever go to I probably won't go to the theaters to see it, but I
Yeah.
can't wait for this movie to come out, and I can't wait till everyone. If they're gonna eat their words when this movie comes out, I guarantee it.
I just want these movies. I'm sick of waiting. I'm sick of seeing all the previews and the set photos. I want the movies. Um, Speaking of things that might not happen or not happening, the actress, formerly official She-Hulk actress, Tatiana Maslany, has announced that she is not playing She-Hulk. She has no idea how these rumors got started. Uh, Even though guys like Mark Ruffalo have like officially welcomed her to the Marvel universe and all these other people, and apparently she's gone on record saying this is a press release that has gone out of control. She never agreed to do She-Hulk. She never met with anybody to do She-Hulk. Apparently the woman who's the director who's doing the She-Hulk show, the showrunner, did some episodes or is a friend of her from Orphan Black, and so maybe she mentioned the actress for She-Hulk or something like that. But as far as like her playing She-Hulk, she's like, no, that's not a thing. So I mean, thank you everybody for your support. Maybe it will happen. I don't know. Maybe now that it blew up with such a positive response, maybe it will happen. But as far as the actress goes, it's not a thing. So we don't have She-Hulk cast yet, guys. Breaking news.
You're gonna have so many people upset that you're gonna see our friend Ralph in particular will be upset
Yeah.
that we're getting a She-Hulk plus or Disney Plus or a movie before we get another Solo Hulk movie. For whatever reason why, we're not going to be getting a Hulk movie ever, I don't think.
Oh, that has to do with Universal, and you know, if Kevin Smith can't get the rights to his own creation to just do a TV show or even a Broadway show, then I don't think they're going to be giving up the rights to the Hulk to Marvel.
I think pretty soon you'll see if it goes sour that it's going to be just like a Sony deal where it's going to be you're just going to see Spider-Man in the future just in the Avenger movies.
I mean, and that's all they can do with Hulk right now. And if there's been, I mean, in the past when Jurassic World came out and it was going up against, I think like Civil War or some movies or Avengers, something like that, they beat Avengers record, the first Avengers record. There's a lot of competitiveness between Universal and Disney, so I don't see that working itself out anytime soon. Especially considering the fact that Universal is notorious for clinging on to its to the rights for all its properties with its cold dead fingers.
Well, hold on to the rights of Back to the Future Universal and
Yeah.
honor Bob Gale's wish after he dies years from now, and don't make a sequel.
There was the same thing. You kind of not same thing, but I mean the dovetail off that. As far as Bob Gale goes, I saw it on Twitter. There was a letter from Stanley Kubrick where they were thinking about making a sequel to 2001: An Odyssey, and he basically wrote this letter saying to I forget who distributed the movie, but saying like, you know I don't have the rights to you guys own the rights to the movie, and like I really legally I have not a leg to stand on. But I'm telling you right now, if you guys make a sequel to that, I will. He said something with some prop on the set. I will go to your house and jam it so far up your ass and break it off. And they basically say he would beat the shit out of anybody who greenlit 2001 Odyssey. And I hope Bob Gale has the same kind of mentality when it comes to Back to the Future.
I don't think it's like that, but listen, there's an official canon sequel. It's a comic book, and not too long before that, the comic book came out from IDW. The video game was the official canon. Now it's a different universe, but still, that's your sequel right there if you want it.
Speaking of cameos, I guess We've had rumors that in the Mandalorian season 2, Ezra from Star Wars Rebels, I think it was from the force sensitive young Padawan of I can't Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character's name. I can't think of his name either. I love that show a lot too, and I can't remember one goddamn person's name in that show.
I'm trying to get through Clone Wars. I'm really excited, but at the same time, it's kind of like a struggle because it's like
Clone Wars is kind of a chore to get through.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lulls. Rebels is really good though. If you're a fan of,
when it comes to that, I only care about the only Obi-Wan stuff and Anakin stuff. So other than that, like I'll fast forward to it and not care about it.
there's a good shot. There's a good Obi-Wan episode, but there's only one Obi-Wan episode in Rebels, and there's a pretty good Darth Maul arc in there too, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
It ends pretty well too. But yeah, I think like we've heard before, a lot of people are kind of dismissing it. But I think it's a little more true than people want to believe that Pedro Pascal may be making his exit from The Mandalorian, and then maybe focusing on more characters from Dave Filoni's catalog of characters from Rebels and Resistance and all that kind of stuff. Which I mean, whatever. I mean, like,
I mean, you can still do someone in the costume as a Mandalorian who wants the money to play the role. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I like Mandalorian, but I mean, honestly, I mean, like, how much can you milk out of that anyway? I mean, another season, cool. But I don't mind if you focus on other characters. I mean, like, and honestly, as long as you're staying in vein with the feel of Mandalorian, where like you're doing the practical effects and like you have competent people doing it and not trying to make these big blockbuster, stupid fucking movies.
You could get away with it with like if they really don't want to recast Pedro Pascal's character. You can get killed off defending Baby Yoda, and then that character can take over the role of
As long as you're making good Star Wars, I don't care who the character is. There's plenty of lore, plenty of characters, plenty of storylines you can borrow from it. So just make it good. That's all I care about.
And then just erase the new prequel. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah. Just really mention it. Make it the Superman 3 of Star Wars, where it's like, okay, we're just gonna pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah.
What else do I got? Mandalorian news. The Boys. Mike, you said you finished The Boys, right?
I absolutely love that show. I wasn't gonna watch it, read it on the website. I read my comics legally, but I don't want to ruin anything.
I haven't finished season 2 yet. It's just been too much stuff to watch, and honestly, I wanted to kind of watch. Me and my wife planned on binging it last weekend, and then a bunch of stuff came up. But I do love The Boys. I haven't seen the episode they're talking about right now, but I guess the showrunners Eric Kripke and Rebecca Sons. Rebecca, they had the scene, I guess, there called "Girls Get It Done," which is kind of reminiscent of the "She's Got Help" scene from Endgame, which they kind of poke fun of it. And they were talking about how they saw Endgame, how they're a big fan of the Marvel stuff. They love the Marvel stuff. Obviously, it's been very influential to them on their work. But as far as that scene both scenes in both Infinity War and Endgame. The first one where Scarlet Witch, Black Widow, and I forget her name from Black Panther all take on not Proximity Midnight. One of the Thanos' children, like that, where it's not alone, and also the scene where every single female character in Marvel Universe existence kind of comes together for one scene to fight Thanos. They said it was.
I didn't think the first one was forced. I felt that the second one was kind of forced.
That one right there and I don't care as much as some people do, but yeah, it is cringy. And I do agree with them that it does kind of like, it's like, what are you doing? I don't know if it's to make up for the fact that they killed off both prominent female characters in their movies, as far as Black Widow and I can't think of her name, the green girl from Guardians.
Gamora.
They killed off both their prominent female characters in
they brought Gamora back from the past.
So but it's like, I don't know. I first of all, people are like, oh, they're making ANEX. It's like, first of all, ANEX sucked, the book. Thing. No one bought it. That's why it's not a book. That's why it only lasted 3 issues. And like, it's, I don't know. It just, I like get into it. It didn't really. I'm indifferent to it. Really, I don't really care. To me,
I felt forced. They could have done it in a more natural way.
The only thing that's pretty bad, I get cringe every time I just see Brie Larson, only because
that's the problem. There's a piece of wood in my backyard that has better acting ability than she does, but
she just like, I mean, nothing. If you enjoy Brie Larson, if you're a fan of Brie Larson, that's cool. I didn't hate Captain Marvel.
I thought it was great, but like,
I like her fine in Scott Pilgrim, but it just there's something about her that rubs me the wrong way.
Something happened where between Scott Pilgrim and now, where she just became a horrible like actress.
Yeah, and like, you know what? Don't it doesn't mean that I'm like, a misogynist or I hate like, women. I just there's something
Captain
about her.
Marvel, great, and I liked all the female characters in all the Avengers movies. I just thought that one scene in Endgame was a little forced. There was even a commercial of Brie Larson in a car commercial, and she was like,
But she does the same thing, and she does the thing where she like makes the face where she goes like, she does, and like it's just the head thing she does, and that's everything. She's like the George, what George Clooney does, the whole like head thing. That's like her thing, where she just like jerks her head really quick and makes like this like, and that's your acting range. And I don't want to get into it too much. But,
yeah, I mean, that's not another whole episode that we don't want to go down that route.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what? The whole premise of The Boys is satire on those movies anyway. So I mean, people are getting upset about like the quotes in the show. I mean, what do you expect from the showrunners of The Boys?
It's
You know
a
what I mean?
corporate superhero team. You think they would do that to appease the public English to get more votes to like the characters or something like that. I mean, people don't understand that anymore.
They're gonna make fun of anything that's popular. Anything you like, they're gonna poke fun at. It's like South Park. It's like anything else. You know what I mean? Get some tougher skin, I guess. But as far as news goes, I think that's all I got, Mike. Let me see. Let me look at my list.
Anything else? It's kind of a slow week.
Yeah. The one thing I did. I'm not gonna. I have a source right now that is for all you Fortnite fans. I'm really kind of dipping my toe in the Fortnite pool. From what I hear, later the end of this year or early next year, we may be seeing a symbiote battle pack to kind of coincide with King and Black storyline Marvel going in. I know Donny Cates has said on the social media that like this current season they're doing right now with Galactus and Thor and all that isn't going to be the last Marvel collaboration with Fortnite. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you've seen a bunch of cool symbiote skins, like maybe like just Venom, maybe symbiote Spider-Man, maybe like what's his name? What was the guy who came up who would turn up being Scorpion?
Oh, Matt Gargan.
Yeah, what was his name though? It was Toxic or something. Or was it?
I think so. Yeah.
I think what his name was, but I mean, I would be surprised to see a bunch of cool designs. You see Venom have those cool, like bat wings, like for a glider and stuff like that. And but yeah, I mean, possibly look forward to that. I have it on pretty good authority that might be a thing happening pretty soon.
Well, I will say this, Marvel. I saw a trailer playing it, and it was Wolverine shooting people, and it kind of ruined it for me.
My son's coming.
The Daredevil. I do want to play that with you for a nice Friday night game episode, but like seeing Daredevil just blast people away with a gun, or just keep Spider-Man out of Fortnite, because I will not buy that costume if I see him shooting people.
That game nothing but fun as far as I'm concerned. It's like hey, so what's the premise of the movie? That's the game, like anything, just like just. So I think that's all we got, guys. I think as far as news goes, if you guys think we missed anything, write in the comments. Say, hey, what about this? This is important to me. Like yeah.
We'll do a special just for you. We'll
do a follow-up episode.
Yeah, follow-up episode. Something like that.
Yeah. No, we won't. But anyway, that's gonna do it for this episode, guys. Please remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right. See you later.
Bye-bye.